My name is Naomi, and in my everyday work, I serve as funeral celebrant. But today, I always have also have the honor of leading this ceremony, or rather, this celebration of life. And the second phrase, celebration of life, feels much more in the spirit of those. The very fact that we are gathered here today in Literaturhaus to celebrate his life already tells us something. The traditional settings and formal structures would never have fitted into his world. Fearghas of first was vast, and he was so very alive while he was alive. All of you who knew me, you know exactly what that means. And that's why it feels so strange that he's suddenly gone. One thing is to know he's gone, another is to understand it. To speak of Fearghas with all that he was in the past tense, that's something your heart will need not time to get used to. A ceremony like this, a celebration of life, gives us a chance to move a little closer to understanding and to begin gently the process of letting go. It's a way to hold both things at once, the sadness of loss and the deep gratitude for having known him. All of you who know and love Fearghas carry on your own stories of him, your moments, your conversations, your laughter, your quiet time together. That's the fabric that real connections are made of. And Fearghas had many of them. Actually, he had enough to open a rock store. Today, we'll unfold his story through music, through words, and through small rituals in ways that allow you to feel that he's still here with us. The Danish poet Ivan Malinowski once wrote a poem that ends with these lines. When we now feast, plant trees, drink wine, it is because your brave time here in our time, precisely with us, here on earth, of all the planets, outweigh deserts of empty eternity. You cannot die as much as you have lived. Let's sit with those words for a moment. Because when it comes to a human life, a life truly lived, there's always more. So much more than a single poem, or a single song, or a single speech can hold. A person is always more. And Fearghas was more, so much more than we can possibly say today in this small space within the limits of time. Let's keep that in mind. And now, I'd like to invite you to the closest ones who already has a candle to come forward and light a candle on behalf of everyone here as we remember him and listen to the next piece of music. My Matters.
As long as the cities are made to color night. I wanna be with you. As long as the city is around you. Watching on the sound. How long will I want you? As long as you want me to. Along with my heart. How long will I want you? As long as your father told you. As long as you want. I can tell you. As long as I live tell you. However long you say. How long will I love you? As long as stars are above you. Longer than night. She's all that I need. That's all. She's all that I need. She's all that I need. That's all. She's all that I need. She's all that I need. That's all. She's all that I need. She's all.
And now, Patty will talk.
Hope you can all hear me. Good. As Fergus's brother, and on behalf of our sister Carol, who cannot be here today, I'd like to give you a bit of background about the person you would have loved and where he came from. Fergus was born in Edinburgh, in Scotland, on October 1963 to John and Felicity, who was known as Felix. He attended the Edinburgh Academy for his whole school career, and it was there he developed a love of animals and singing. At school, he especially enjoyed hanging out in the biology department, looking after the animals. And during the summer holidays, he volunteered to look after a pair of common rats. And sure enough, he brought two of these rats home at the end of the summer. He took 8 back. Sailing was always a big part of our lives, as our mother Felix had a yacht, and we would sail around the west coast of Scotland for our family holidays. And whilst I think he enjoyed cruising like that, I think he much preferred racing dinghies on the Firth of Forth near our home in Edinburgh. That was both with the school and the Royal Forth Yacht Club. And he would delight in coming home, having played capsized that day, but he still had dry feet. What happens as the boat went over, he would leap over the side, back into the queue, pull it back and hop back in again to stay dry. Over the years, Fearghas had a number of different boats, and lastly got involved to sailing canoes when he moved to Balquhidder in the Trosses. And he even built a coracle, which is still sitting there today. Aside from sailing, he was quite artistic. He played the flute, keyboards, and in his teenage years, he'd heard about this old pipe organ in the church that was being demolished. This big pipe organ needs to be rescued. So he gathered some friends together, and with the aid of our mother's camper van, we transported all this to our spare room at the house, and he managed to assemble it, and then playing the organ, someone pumped and eventually that organ got taken to our family church. Didn't have those electronic keyboard, and that organ is still in use today. During his teenage years, he got involved in theatre arts, primarily backstage, doing the lighting and sound. And he learned not to swear down an open microphone during the performance, much to the chagrin of our parents. After leaving school, he ended up working in that field and moved around the country, starting a job up in Fife, outside the Fort in Edinburgh, and then went down to Cardiff and kind of worked his way back over the various years back to Edinburgh. And alongside his theatre work, he started to develop an interest in IT. He started off with a BBC Micro, remember them? And then he graduated onto the Amstrad PCW 8256. Who remembers them? He went on to Glasgow as a mature student, and he supported various fellow students with disabilities, blind, and helped them get IT kits so they could take notes during their lectures. Of course, that meant he had to have the same kit beside them to support them. So he got his hand on some lovely new toys. I think his Apple addiction started about 1991 when he got introduced to the Mac Classic. Had 8 meg of RAM. And he got the upgraded version, 14 megabyte disk. And you remember those things that were sort of luggable? You put a big case, it was like that, you could actually carry it around. Not quite a laptop these days. And of course, he needed to get more disk space, so he ended up getting an external drive, like 150 megabytes. And aside from doing IT support for his fellow students, he was always really helpful to them doing heat taking places, and sometimes when they went to the hospital, he would look after the guide dogs. And it just to show he did care about people and their animals. It's really the most surprising, despite our household primarily a cat-owning household, when he did move out and was back, he did get a dog and one thing. I think one thing you could always say about Fearghas that he was a great networker. He was always on the phone, using that one phone line he had in the house, and talking to lots of people. Not so annoyed the rest of us when we couldn't take a call, and particularly annoyed our father to pay the phone bill. In the early 90s, he managed to persuade both Demon Internet and our parents to install 20 phone lines into the house. And he paid the first point of Christmas outside of London for dial. And thus he was exposed to this travel thing called the World Wide Web. His relationship with Demon Internet developed such that he ended up providing ad hoc support for some of the users, and some of them became quite well known. As an aficionado of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, I remember being gobsmacked after the film with Douglas Adams once. He went on providing web support for Demon's customers and ended up having to employ staff, and they were initially had to be based in the top floor of our house. Fortunately, my sister and I had moved out at that point, but our former bedrooms became offices. And I remember in the mall working away there, and there was this little 3-year-old, Marinus, grinning around saying, hi, or please. And from those beginnings, he went on to get more involved in the industry, as you already know, and he started traveling all around Europe and the US and Africa. working with Flex Optics and organising and attending countless conferences. And during these travels, he met Susan. Eventually, they married in Iceland in 2017. We were all very happy for them, and it was just tragic that Susan was taken from him far too soon. It wasn't planned today, but this morning Facebook told me that today is actually Susan's birthday. And I think it's sort of fitting that we remember them together that way. He was my brother. We bickered and argued most of the time when we were growing up, and I didn't appreciate it at the time. He was a caring person. And I think from speaking to so many people the last few weeks, that was his big strength. He was caring and encouraging to everybody. He's always looked out for his family, his nephews, and of course, devoted to members. Whenever a crisis would hit, he would step up and do whatever had to be done to get things done. We will all miss him, and I hope we can celebrate his life today with things he liked, like good food, good friends, and good drink. Thank you.
I can say a lot of good things about my dad, so many good things. But I've decided that I'd rather focus on this last 2 months' time. So, ever since Susan passed, Fearghas lost his footing. He didn't really have a home, a base that he could stay at. He was traveling on the ground a lot. And, yeah, it was a hard time for him. And then, 3 months ago, Sophie and I, my brother, bought a house together, with a spare room, with the intent of moving further, which was awful. And obviously he was delighted. We were really looking forward to giving him an actual place that, hey, you can actually stay here. And so we came to visit Denmark at the end of September, only meant to be there for a week. We went up, we started planning the house, what furniture would you like in the room, when should we move in, all these different kind of things. And he extended his stay for almost 2 weeks, just because he thought, I want to hang around, and we spent a lot of time together, those 3 weeks that was in total. Almost every night, I would go after work, go to Copenhagen, and have dinner together, and have long talks. And I cherish that so much because Fearghas has always been traveling a lot, so sometimes I would be months not seeing him. I would always talk to him, but I would see him. And actually, for the last 3 weeks of his life, we spent almost every day together. And I'm just so happy that he knew that when he died, he was loved, he had a place to stay, and things were going to get better. So I'm very happy for that. And I know he'd be so happy to see you all here today to celebrate him. Unfortunately, he had to get his nails on today, so
I'm Thomas. I have been with the honor to work together with Fearghas for the last 15 years. And it was a bit louder. Okay. The first time we met each other was in 2010 in Edinburgh, in his hometown, UK. And a couple of months later, we met each other again, Marcus, Fearghas, and myself, and we agreed we can work together, this will work out. And he confirmed and finalized this with hey, boys, I thought it would be last. So this was actually the beginning of our journey when we started working together. And we were working together until this October. And since then, we never had a written contract. And it worked. First, he was a genius in connecting people. Like Teddy already mentioned, this was his main task to go to conferences, meet people, connect them, John Brown, he just a couple of weeks ago said, hey, actually, we should award this human peering what he did for the community. Because the community for him was not only industry or the internet, but also friendships and somehow a little bit family as well. And the great thing what he did, it was always without any pressure. He was very polite, no pressure, and a lot of understatement. And if things didn't work well, he said, wait, this one. At conferences, it was accepted that Fearghas fell asleep. And he actually this was accepted. I still remember we were in a club in Dublin, it was social, 2 o'clock in the morning, and he was leaning against the wall, and closed the eyes, and someone chased him and asked him a question. He woke up, made his pitch, and then 30 seconds later, he was gorgeous. And yeah, there were quite a lot of things what happened what Fearghas did. And one with James Blessing challenged him on the kill. And James Blessing said, hey, I'm going to wear a kill if you could organize me one. First, he was a proud sportsman. He took that challenge and he even registered a pardon. That's actually more. And James Blessing had to wear it that way. He was a world citizen, he traveled around the globe, but one of his biggest treasures was also his status. His status is united. And also his Hilton Diamond status. He really celebrated this, and it was really kept this treasure for him. And I'm honest, I also learned a lot from him to get all the benefits. Where are great shows at which various airport? Thank you very much, Fearghas. Your voice will be great. And it's an honor. Thank you very much.
Hello everyone, I'm Niels, I'm a German friend of Fearghas, and I will share 2 moments with Fearghas, the first day when I met him. In the last day I saw, okay. I first met Fearghas at the medical conference, thank you, at the medical conference in Edinburgh. I attended there as a medical student, caring for animal welfare, and as I heard, this was also a very big issue for Fearghas. And I must admit I was very focused, as I can be sometimes. So Edinburgh is a wonderful city, but for me it was animal welfare, it was the conference, and I didn't see right or left, and it was sufficient for me. But then Fearghas came and took me by his hand. And this was, as Fearghas was, he was connecting with people, and he was connecting with me. And he took me away from the conference, showed me Edinburgh, and it was really refreshing. And I saw something and experienced something I've never thought that was possible. And of course, it was not only the inspiring city, it was the love of Fearghas. And at evening time, we went to a restaurant, the Scottish Whisky Society, which was something special for me because I was, I think, in my mid-20s then, and I maybe had altogether 5 glasses of champagne during my lifetime. That is New Year's Eve occasion. So I went with Fearghas and we drank a whiskey or 2, or let's say 10. I lost counting. It was very, very nice. And you might not know the whiskey society, you can always taste another whiskey. And when you tasted the other whiskey, there's still another and another one. So I must admit, I hope I don't get in jail today, but I must admit I nicked some glasses. Because it was a nice evening. Maybe every 5 whiskeys I nicked. Trench coat with me. In the end, I had 7 whiskey glasses. And Fearghas was only smiling. And okay, during the time course, 6 glasses broke. So I thought maybe it's a good opportunity now to bring the glass with me and maybe break it here. But I tell you in a moment that why I decided against that. And yeah, so the last time I met Fearghas was in Berlin, where he attended a conference, and I visited him from Hanover. And he had some relaxing times too, and we went in a park looking at the birds there. He was actually more into seabirds, but it was a sunny evening and there were some ducks in the pond, and we had a nice conversation. And actually, I must admit, I'm a city boy myself, and I was chasing a bird, which is not so uncommon. I was chasing it. This is a song thrush, and I could never see it. Sometimes I heard it, but I could never see it. But at this time, it was just above our head. So, and it was singing and singing and singing. And I think this is, for me, a little bit like my time with Fearghas until the song sung up, and then it will be not at the end. So, Fearghas will be still with me at this love. And this is because I decided against breaking the glass here. There will be many possibilities to think at Fearghas and to drink with him together. And I think until my end, he will be always with me.
Fearghas family has taken samples of soil from Baltia, where he lived for many years, and occasionally we found peas in white surroundings, so that Fearghas can have this special place along on his last journey. So now I will perform my ritual with the soil, not a Christian one, but one that underlines that Fearghas is living here in other senses. Fearghas, of words, thoughts, and love you came from your parents. Into words, love, thoughts, and love you shall return. For those who love you will go on speaking of you, thinking of you, and loving you. For the person you were, and for all the gentle traces you left in the world. And in this way, you will live on in words, in faces, thoughts, and love. I will repeat Malinowski's words. You cannot die as much as you have lived. If Fearghas was able to say some words to all of you, here and now, I lent him my voice to say these, that Henry Scott Holland wrote in his famous poem more than 100 years ago. Death is nothing at all. Death is nothing at all. It does not count. I only slip away into the next room. Nothing has happened. Everything remains exactly as it was. I am I, and you are you, and the old life that we lived so fondly together is untouched, unchanged. Whatever we were to each other, that we are still. Call me by the old familiar name. Speak of me in the easy way which you always used. Put no difference into your tone. Wear no forced air of solemnity or sorrow. Laugh as we always laugh at the little jokes that we enjoy together. Play, smile, think of me, pray for me. Let my name be ever the household word that it always was. Let it be spoken without an effort, without the ghost of a shadow upon it. Life means all that it ever meant. It is the same as it ever was. There's absolute and unbroken continuity. What is this death but a negligible accident? Why should I be out of mind? Because I'm out of sight. I am but waiting for you, for an interval, somewhere very near, just around the corner. All is well. Nothing is hurt. Nothing is lost. One brief moment, and all will be as it was before. How we shall laugh when we meet again. It is now time to bring this part of the celebration of Fearghas to a close. In a moment, the final piece of music will be played, and those who will carry Fearghas' casket may step forward and prepare. On behalf of Magnus, I wish to thank you for your support, your flowers, and not least for traveling all the way to Copenhagen and to honor Fearghas and to share this farewell with us. After the ceremony, a feast for Fearghas will take place here in this room. Magnus warmly hopes you stay to celebrate Fearghas' life, to share stories, to raise a glass, and to toast to him with love and with laughter. Once again, thank you deeply and sincerely for being here today.
that cold November cold, and the leaves from green cover blowing in the sky. Little girl used to notice there's awful quiet. I was just coming for the next straight line. Now, baby, baby, was everything there matters? Yes. That's just the way when you walk your day. Yeah, that's just the way when you walk your
I'm going to leave my 360 up here, just running until it fills up, and then we'll have whatever afterwards. Thank you so much. you.
So, everybody, we're doing an extended week, so we've got the rules late tonight. So, lots of people who traveled here, kicking us now. And so we need to remove all the chairs, bring the tables out, chairs around the tables. We've got 100 beers, 80 drinks, and 50 sodas. So please enjoy yourselves.
And there will be many sites at the Brownsville.
Oh yeah, all evening.
Fire conference. And then you go right on the way the road comes from, there's one and there's one to us. Remember?
I do my dad loves sodas. So.
Thank you.